What's going on, you guys? Mr. Allen here with some non-right triangle trick. In this video, we're going to be using law of sines to solve this triangle ABC. So we got find all missing sides and angles in triangle ABC, sometimes referred to as solve the triangle. We're given that measure of angle A is 82 degrees. I'll go ahead and mark that. We got the measure of angle C is 61 degrees. Mark that. And then I've got AB is 27 feet. 27 feet. All right, so what kind of situation am I dealing with here? This is how we decide whether or not to use law of sines or law of cosines. I know I told you at the start we're going to use law of sines, but here's how you do it once you're in the thick of it and you got all the fun formulas. I have angle, angle, side, okay? So I'm going to jot that down. Angle, angle, side. This generally lends itself to law of sines, and the reason being is that I have an angle and a side across from it that I know, which means I can fill out my superproportion with one completed ratio. So when I set this all up, or the fraction equals a fraction equals a fraction, I will have the sine, we can do sine in the numerator, of 61 over 27. I've also seen people flip it and love 27 over sine of 61. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent with the other two ratios that make up this super proportion, as I like to call it. I don't know if that's the official term, but I'm going to call it that. All right. So now what? Well, I could figure out this other angle here. That's one of the three pieces that I need, right? Let's do that. So if I add these two together and subtract them from 180, I'll get that angle. And I'm just going to throw it all in my calculator to make sure I don't make any kind of a dumb mistake, 82 plus 61, and I've got 180 minus the 143. I got 37 degrees. Cool. Also saves me a little space of work here. So 37 degrees. 1/3 the way done. Yes. Now I can do this. I want to figure out what little b is, and I want to figure out what little a is. We use uppercase for the vertices of the triangle, the angles, right? And then I use lowercase across from that corresponding vertex. I use the lowercase version of that letter to represent the side length, okay? So now with a, I would have sine of 82 over a, sine 82 over a. And for b, I'd have sine of 37 over b. Now, you may notice that I did put I put C in the middle, which is weird, instead of just doing A, B, and C. The reason I do that is so now I can just like block this guy out and only focus on these two, cross, multiply, and solve, and then do the same over here. And I don't have to like jump over stuff, right? So that way I have like ready to go, cross multiplication, right next to each other. That's why I put the known one in the middle. At least that's what I like to do. You don't have to do it. It's up to you, man. But that's just what I do, okay? So let's work with these two. I've got 27 times sine 82 equals a times sine 61. Divide by sine of 61. Sine 61. And now I've got myself a already solved for. We'll just type all that into our calculator at once. Now, make sure you are in degree mode before you start mathing like crazy. I am currently in degree mode. We're good to go, right? You may have been just doing a unit where you were in radians for stuff and you might have to flip-flop, right? Pre-calc does that a bit, which can be kind of tricky. So just make sure you double check that. Otherwise, you'll get some weird answers, okay? Alpha x for the fraction, or alpha y, equals 27 sine of 82 over sine of 61. And that'll give me my side length of A, which is 30.57. So A is, I'll write it right here, 30.57 feet. Yes, we are in feet. Cool. So we got A. We got the measure of angle B. We only have one more to go. 2/3 of the way down. I can also write that A equals 30.57 feet right here. Boom. I got it in two places. All right. Now we'll go with blue. So we're going to work with this guy right here. Okay. So we got B times sine of 61. B sine 61 equals 27 sine of 37. Cool. Divide by sine of 61 to get B by itself. So really just some, pretty basic algebra after you get this all set up, right? Not too terrible, but, there's always ways to make mistakes. Like not typing in a number correctly or whatever. So let's type all that in. Alpha x, watch me screw it up right now, 27. And then we got sine 37. Close my parentheses. Arrow down. Sine of 61. Close my parentheses. And we've got 18.578. So 5/8 then. 18.58 feet. That's B, 18.58 feet. I have all of my sides and angles accounted for in this beautiful triangle ABC. than I did with the power of law of sines. Kind of a cool formula, real easy to work with because it's just, cross multiplication to solve for these things. There are times we have to solve for the angles, which is a little bit more work. Got to use some inverse sine, but not a big deal. We'll cover that in another video, Last thing I like to do with these problems is I like to do a quick check to make sure things make sense. Meaning, is my smallest side across from my smallest angle? Yes. Is my largest side of 30.57 across from the largest angle? Yes. Is the middle size side across from the middle measured angle? Yes, it is. So all that checks out. That doesn't guarantee that you're right, but it does make sure that something weird didn't happen, right? So I always like to do a little check like that before I move on to the next one. So I'm ready to rock and roll. This video is done. You guys have a great day.